So you're all pumped up about that business adventure, right? And but what about web space? What about domain names, logos? Are you sure you want to do this? I'm going to show you why you are going to do this. Coming up on Inspire with Christopher Williams. Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inspired with Christopher Williams. I'm your host, Christopher Williams, navigator and motivator with you on the path to accomplishing your goals and achieving your dreams. Of course, we always start off the show by giving gratitude and thanking you guys for not only support of the show, but also support of this movement that we have. You know, inspiring others to really believe in themselves and accomplish their goals and achieving their dreams. So in a way, I want to thank you for believing in you. Thank you guys also for tuning in, checking us out online, social media. Christopher at onewilliamsenterprises.com is the email. You can always shoot me a message with your questions, your concerns. Also, feedback for the show. You know, let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see. It just may end up on one of the episodes. Facebook.com/Williams Inc. where you can always find me. I'm on there as well. The Instagram page as well. Of course, my friends on Instagram, Williams_Enterprises, where you can always find your daily dose of motivation and inspiration. Also, drop a line to me there as well. If you're already an entrepreneur and you guys want to kind of talk about some things, get some things on the books, hey, I'm all up for it. I love helping people, so just let me know. But also, hey, thank you guys as well for letting me know that not only you're getting some out of the show, but some of you have also let me know that you've passed the show information along to somebody else, and they want to, you want to talk about some things. Hey, I greatly appreciate it, man. One of the benefits and one of the true, blessings that I get from doing this is you guys letting me know that not only you're getting something from it, but you've heard something that really got you going. You heard something that really got you in gear to get back out there and do what you really, what you really feel you were put on this earth to do. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to continue with the From Dreams to Reality series. I told you guys this is very near and dear to my heart because we're talking about things that are kind of told that are going to get in our way, roadblocks as we're calling them for the sake of the series. Talking about myths, legends, all these things that we're told that we're going to have to do before we truly get to starting that business, and we're basically putting all these things to rest. These are not true. So that's what we're going to get into today. We're going to continue with some of the things we talked about, and also we're going to truly, let you know, hey, some detours, right? If there's some roadblocks, there's got to be another way. So that's what we're going to talk about on today's show. So one of the first things, you talk about somebody, you talk about your business to somebody, you let them know what you want to do. One of the first things you almost always hear somebody tell you, well, do you have a website? You got to have a website. You got to website, right? When I first started, when people told me about a website, all I heard was money. And when I mean money, I heard what they had to say, but I'm like, man, that's an expense. I ain't even got a business yet. I'm already having a business expense. But, that's not always the case, right? You don't always necessarily need a website just to get yourself or to get your name out there, especially in this day and time. And what do I mean by that? I mean social media. There's so many free web spaces that you have out there. There's so many free, things that you have out there at your disposal that you can use. Some of the most common things, of course, Facebook. You have Facebook. You have Twitter. A lot of people take advantage of Twitter for their own personal use, but these things can also be used for business purposes as well. Facebook has something called a Pages Manager where you can actually start up your own page. You can run your own campaigns for a small fee, but these are ways that you can actually also promote your business without, tampering with your personal life. You use these things to funnel people to your business, but also you don't have to use your friends. A lot of people get, kind of leery about, well, these are my friends. I don't want them seeing something for me and thinking that I'm trying to sell them something. With Facebook, they're trying to make it a lot more user-friendly to where that's not always the case. You can bring in other audiences instead of just using, your friends and your family. But going back to our point of roadblocks, you don't always have to have a web space, especially just starting out. You really want to keep your cost down, right? Because you're still trying to figure out how you want this thing to look. There's no point in paying for something if it's not even how you want it to look yet. So don't let that stop you. Don't let that get in your way. You don't have to use a web space, especially if it's something out there that you can use for free. Of course, you hear me always thanking you guys for tuning in. One of my main sources now that I've gotten acclimated to is Instagram. So many great ways to use Instagram for your business. If you have any questions about those things, hey, let me know. I'm always available here, always available to answer any questions you have. Facebook.com/Williams Inc. And if you are on Instagram, hey, check me out, Williams_Enterprises, and I can definitely walk you through how I began to grow my page and how I began to truly grow the audience that I have. So not only the web space, people are always telling you about the web space. What's the next thing you almost always hear people say? Well, did you register your name with the state? And when I first heard this, when I first started out, I'm like, who's the state? I'm not thinking about the state I live in, but I'm like, well, is this some type of, conglomerate I got to check in with if I want to start a business? But, I say that to say this, don't get afraid of all this kind of stuff. These are really things that, kind of an old way of doing things. Yes, you're going to look into these things once you start growing, once you start becoming more of and fine tuning who you really want to be as an entrepreneur. But just starting out, you don't need to do all this kind of stuff. Nobody has a microscope looking for you out there saying, you just started a business, you better tell us who you are. That's not the case, all right? What you really want to focus on, your strategy, okay? Once you've identified who you want to be as an entrepreneur, what you want to do, if you want to sell, if you want to buy, if you want to provide advice, if you want to provide counseling, whatever that vision that you have is, once you start to truly identify and fine-tune that, what you really want to do is figure out what your strategy is going to be. And one thing that you don't want to get in your way is paperwork, trying to tell somebody why you should do what you want to do. It's your vision, okay? You do it because you feel you were put here to do that, and that's what you really want to focus on. So don't let those things get in your way at all. So going back to the detours that I talked about at the very beginning of the show. Of course, you think of a detour, you think of another way to get where you're trying to go. So that's what we're going to talk about right now. So you may say, well, Christopher, what kind of detours are you talking about? These are things that I'm told that I have to do if I want to be an entrepreneur. Well, these detours that I'm going to talk to you about right now are going to be ways that you can still get that experience that you need of being an entrepreneur, not only in regards to advertising yourself, but also getting your name out there and actually getting your feet wet with doing what you really want to do. So these are going to be detours that you can take and you can apply to your own strategy, okay? So when you think about being an entrepreneur, when you think about what that strategy or what that vision is that you have, you want to also think about, well, I want to kind of do this to make sure or to start getting experience under my belt. So one thing that you can do is you can always make a job posting. And it's something that's actually a lot more effective than you think. I've talked to many people who've told me, this was part of their strategy. It's kind of like, basically putting your resume out there for everybody to see. But a job posting is a lot more specific because it's telling somebody what you do, what you can offer them, how long you can offer it to them for, and pretty much how long you can truly be, available to them in regards to what you're trying to offer. And there are many ways you can put these postings out there. Of course, the first and foremost idea is social media. You look at social locations like LinkedIn. LinkedIn has really become a lot more user-friendly for entrepreneurs because not only do they have job postings, but the whole idea behind LinkedIn, of course, is to be something where professionals can connect with each other, they can network, they can talk about things, and also they can maybe provide, get a need satisfied or provide a need for you if that's what you need. So just keep that in mind. Job postings are very beneficial. One of the newer ways that I'm finding and that I'm learning about so that I can kind of instruct more people on is freelance work. Now, it's very similar to job postings, but what you're doing with freelance work is you're out there seeing what's out there that other entrepreneurs, other businesses have that, they may need, and that's something that you can provide. One of the things that one of the social sites that I'm looking into and that I'm learning about and I'm helping a lot of people out with right now is one called Elance. And the cool thing about Elance is that you can actually tailor and fine tune a search based on whatever service that you're providing or that you're willing to offer, and they'll send you matches based on where you live, based on your zip code, city, state, all that kind of stuff. And it's a great way to also see what somebody in your industry is doing. Seeing what they're needing, seeing what those postings from those companies look like. Because every entrepreneur's ultimate goal is to, I'm sure, at some point be an employer. And you want to provide somebody an opportunity to truly take hold of that passion that you have for what you're doing. So Elance is one of those great social media sites that you can use to fine tune and also to grow your experience. Anytime you're doing anything, you're gonna have those nerves, right? Those butterflies, right? Kind of like the first time you go on a job interview. It's the first one, you really want to land it, but you want to make sure you make a good first impression. So Elance provides you an opportunity to do that, get your feet wet, whether it be with a bigger company or a smaller company, maybe just working with with another entrepreneur on a project you guys can collaborate with. It's a great way to get your feet wet. It's a great way to get your name out there. So take advantages of some of those detours, as we're calling them today. And I guarantee you, these will help you not only stay motivated, stay pushing forward, but also it'll help you truly gain a lot of ground into that startup that you're getting ready to launch. So these next couple detours we're going to talk about are basically advice. Okay, these are things that you're going to be able to recall and think on to kind of not only motivate you to get past these roadblocks that we've been talking about, but things that you're going to remember to also incorporate in your daily journey when you're accomplishing these things to get you closer and closer to day one of actually opening up, or to kind of keep you moving forward with the next goal that you have. And the first thing we're going to talk about is something I truly like to call that I truly like to talk to a lot of people who are starting out with, and it's this: is that adding value does not always mean money. Okay, you don't always have to think of things from a money standpoint, especially when you're first starting out. But the irony behind this is that a lot of people are going to throw this at you when you're first starting out because maybe their business is or working with entrepreneurs. You have to realize that there are some people out there that really that's their business. Their business is getting you signed up with web space. Their business is printing up those first 500 business cards for you. I know when I first started, and even I kind of got to the official point of me being Williams Enterprises. Most of my calls every day were from other businesses trying to sell me something, right? But I can't get mad at that. It's business, right? But the idea you want to remember is that adding value does not always meaning adding something that's going to cost you money. Sometimes adding value is going to mean adding the right person in your circle that's going to know where you're trying to go because they've been there themselves. Sometimes adding value is going to be incorporating a book in your daily routine, something that's inspirational, motivational. Even my show, you've had to incorporate us, and we've paid great dividends for you apparently. But the idea is that don't always look at things from a dollar standpoint. There are a lot of things out there that can pay great dividends for you that you don't even have to pay for. Whether that's visiting a web space that kind of provides you with information that you're going to need, or whether that's talking to somebody. Believe it or not, there's so much value in talking to somebody and just bouncing ideas off of each other that really could help you from day one on up to you truly open your doors if you're selling something or you've made your first purchase if you're buying something. So the idea that everything costs something is not true. So just let that be something that kind of helps you get past that hurdle or get around that roadblock. So if you don't have a lot of money, like we've talked about in the previous episode, don't worry about it. Some of the things that are going to help you are actually free. So just keep that in mind. Another thing to remember is that even as you're going forward, even as you're accomplishing these things, even as you're pushing forward, there's always going to be something that's going to get in your way. And that's only because you're trying to do something new. All right. So make sure that as you're seeing these things, these are actually opportunities to learn and opportunities to grow. So don't look at this as something that you're going to say, oh, well, I didn't anticipate that, so let me just stop. No, learn about it as much as you can. Invest in it, invest in yourself, so that way you can continue to learn and grow and keep moving forward from there. One of the other detours I want to leave you with as well is this: speak it as though it already exists. Okay? If you're going to be an entrepreneur, one thing you got to have in yourself is faith, and another thing you have to have is confidence. But the only way you're really going to grow these things is it has to start with you. So don't tell people, don't talk about your business as it doesn't exist yet. Or tell me one day I'm going to open this up, or I'm going to be opening this up next year. No, you're an entrepreneur now because you've decided within yourself that that's who you want to be. So whenever you're talking about business ventures, whenever you're talking about achieving a goal, speak it as though you already achieved it or you're already achieving it. That way you start to believe in yourself a lot more. Because when you talk to people about any type of business endeavor, any type of plan or project, one thing that they really like to feel is confident in you that you believe it's going to work out. They like to talk to people who truly have confidence in what they're trying to do, whether that be business adventures or whether that be personal endeavors. There's something about truly believing in yourself that allows other people to believe in you too. So speak things as though they already exist. That way you're already mentally getting in that mindset and making that connection to say, I'm not going to be the entrepreneur. I already am the entrepreneur. So that's one thing you truly want to do. And lastly, invest in your craft. All right? In order to continue to grow and be successful, you have to always be willing to be a student. Okay? And by being a student, I don't mean you have to always go back to school and pick, that's not what I mean. But sometimes learning about your craft will give you all the answers that you could ever need. I remember when I first started on my road to writing business plans, I knew a lot about business plans, but what I had to realize is that things are always changing. Okay? The environment we're in changes. A lot of us who are in the social media can know that firsthand. Remember MySpace? That was a big deal, MySpace, right? Where would we be if we just focused on MySpace? We'd probably be behind the times because MySpace is not really what it used to be. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have all these other things, Twitter, FaceTime, all these things. So you have to be willing to invest in your craft and be willing to invest your time, not only your time, but your money and your talent. Invest in yourself, invest in your craft. That way, as time changes, your business can evolve as well. And your business can evolve to continuously meet your customer base and also maybe even help out those who support you. Maybe those who you want to one day support as well. I think the ultimate goal of every entrepreneur is to be able to invest that money and not worry about how fast you're going to get it back. So be willing to invest in your craft, invest in your talent, and I guarantee you that you'll see success sooner than later.
10 years to learn the business. 10 years to make a name. 1 year on your own. It takes time to build a small business, but only 60 days to transform it with email marketing from Constant Contact. Sign up with Constant Contact and get 60 days of free email marketing to generate referrals, connect with clients, and build the business you've always wanted. Constant Contact. Start your 60-day free trial today.
Welcome back to Inspired with Christopher Williams. I want to take some time to thank our sponsors for helping make the show possible. A lot of the information that we give you guys is so important, and that's just from what you're telling me. So we want to let you guys know that our sponsors are the ones who really help make the information that we bring you possible. So thank you out there. Thank you for those who are even considering sponsoring the show. You won't be disappointed, but hey, thank you for your consideration as well. So for today's point of power, I just want to remind you of something that you probably already know. But the idea is that successful people, those who are truly successful in their craft, they learn to see things from a different perspective. Successful people learn to see things from a different perspective. One of the things I do, and some people laugh at me because they know I do this, is that whenever I'm faced with a kind of a big decision to make, or whenever I'm thinking about something, I'll literally get up and go stand in different corners of the room. That's just me. I'm a nerd anyway, but I do that, and it's just as a reminder to me to remember that it's not always about how I see it, right? So the idea you want to keep in mind is that if you really want to be successful at anything, whether that's be business or whether that's your personal goals, personal achievement, or anything like that, learn to see things from a different perspective, and also learn that your opinion is not always the only opinion that matters. You have to always be willing to see things from someone else's perspective. Now, when you do that, you gain a lot of things, and I'm just talking to you from my perspective at this point. But what you realize is that people see things differently, right? You're seeing things from one perspective, but somebody else could be seeing something from their own experience, from something that they've been through before, and because of what they may have been through or what they may have either succeeded in or failed in, that shapes how they're seeing whatever decision that needs to be made. But if you can learn to see things from a different perspective, you will truly not only learn how to deal with people, but you will truly also learn that some things, have more than one side to them. So some of the decisions that you make are not always as clear cut and dry, which is why you have to be willing to see things from a different perspective, see things from a different angle. Not only that, if it's something that you're truly struggling with, whether it be a decision to make or whether it be, what is their motive behind, asking me this question, or why do they want my opinion, or why do they want my help with something? Just be willing to step away from it for a second. Sometimes when you step away from things, that gives you that different perspective as well, because you're giving yourself time to not only think about it, let it sink in, but you're now coming back with a refreshed mind. You're coming back with a different attitude about it, and you're able to not only see things from a different point of view, but you're able to make a more inclined decision based on maybe not only your perspective, but everybody else's involved. So just always remember that. Always be willing to see things from a different perspective, and I guarantee you'll accomplish more. The decisions that you make, you'll feel more confident about them, and not only that, you may make some new colleagues as well, because they're seeing that you're willing to not necessarily see things from one side or from a one-sided point of view. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to today's show. Of course, we always have a great time. Of course, we always accomplish a lot of things. But if you have any questions about what we talked about today, don't hesitate to give me a call. Don't hesitate to find me on social media. Facebook.com/Williams Inc. Christopher at OneWilliamsEnterprises.com. OneWilliamsEnterprises.com is the website where you can always find everything inspired with Christopher Williams involving the show. And also my friends on social media, Instagram per se, Williams_Enterprises, where you can always find your daily dose of inspiration and motivation. And be willing to catch up with the other episodes as well on BizLinks TV, where you can always find the new episodes, but also any episodes that you may want to go back on and review, maybe take some extra notes, and maybe refer to some things that you saw on their show as well. But hey, until next time, stay inspired.